When you start thinking about the end of mythologies, the first event that comes to mind would be Ragnarok, which led to more than half of the Norse pantheon being killed. However, the end of Christian mythology may even be an event of higher significance when compared directly. Most people know of the story of Adam and Eve and of Noah's Ark, but are those stories actually what they look like from the outside? Is God actually the just and calm, omnipotent being, as the known texts describe, or is he actually a being filled with greed and envy, who led to the destruction of the world in Christian mythology? A lost text by the name of Apocalypse of Adam describes the events in Christian mythology, how they went down, and what led to their destruction. In the Apocalypse of Adam, there are no records of the Garden of Eden, but it is suggested that Adam and Eve once resided there, while the tree of knowledge is completely non-existent. Eve was imparted wisdom from the start by the Illuminator, a being about whom we'll discuss further on. This knowledge was passed on to Adam by Eve. Adam describes to his children that God was jealous of their knowledge, as it was believed to be higher than God himself. Thus, consumed by his envy, God casts them out of the Garden of Eden and forces them to serve him, while Adam and Eve live their lives in constant fear and subjugation. In the end, because of his thirst for knowledge, God finally strips Adam and Eve of their wisdom, leaving them unable to judge morality. Another deed in the text is how God and Eve had a child. While this part is not recorded properly, it is something that Adam narrates to his children. Once Adam was cast out of Eden, he was visited by three men of unknown origin. Adam sensed that these men were wildly powerful. They were just as powerful as God and very different from him at the same time. The men showed Adam a vision of the future in which God destroys the world by flooding it. This flood was not done to punish man for his wickedness. Rather, it was to wipe out the seed of Adam and the knowledge that was passed down from the seed from generation to generation. It remains unclear who these three men were, or what the exact nature of their power was, though. Some speculate they were with the Illuminator, the being which imparted wisdom to Eve. Receiving the vision led to Adam trying to change his fate, but this was to no avail as his wisdom was snatched away by God. After some time, the flood indeed arrives. This flood, as stated earlier, was to wipe out the seed of Adam, and with it, the immense knowledge they possess. God communicates with Noah and tells him to build an ark if he wants to save himself. Noah, like all other children of Adam, possessed the seed of knowledge as well. So it is unknown why exactly God tried to save Noah, but theorists believe that this was done so God could obtain the knowledge for himself. This remains in line with the fact that God was scared and envious of man's potential to realize the ultimate power. God instructed Noah to build the ark months before the flood and told him to get 2 of every animal species on the ark, 1 male and 1 female. Noah was also allowed to get his family on the ark. Though there was one major condition for this knowledge and the opportunity for Noah to save himself and his family. It was that Noah was never supposed to have more children. His only lineage would be that which exists already, which meant that the seed of knowledge would die, and there would be no one superior to God himself in terms of knowledge. This deal was obviously taken up by Noah as he had no other way to save himself, and you thought life was unfair to you. It takes a few months for the flood to stop, another few months for the water to finally start drying up. Finally, after 6 months, the peaks of the mountains were visible. Noah would send out doves and ravens to search for a larger piece of land, but it was to no avail. After another few months, more of the mountains were visible, but still no good news for a land where Noah and the animals could reside. As time went by, food became harder to come by, and anxiety on the ark grew. But finally, a raven set free by Noah in search of land came back with a twig in its beak, signifying that land was available for them to land. Before they landed and Noah set free the animals, God reminded him of the deal that they had made and the consequences if he did not obey. When they landed on the piece of land, Noah found a group of men of unknown origin already there. Seeing this, God was furious as he thought that Noah had once again had more children even after the deal. God began to scold Noah for breaking his deal, but Noah testified that the group of men had no relation to Noah at all. God's exact reaction to this is lost forever, but it is safe to say that God believed Noah. The strange men go to live away with the angels. Again, their origin is unknown, but some researchers say that they may have been the same men who warned Adam about the Great Flood. Then Noah decides to split the earth between his sons Ham, Japheth, and Shem, however, before they depart. Noah tells each of them to strictly live under the subjugation and constant fear of God, just like Adam did, and to never let their seed depart from God. Ham, Japheth, and Shem create 400,000 descendants, and these descendants set out to find the men who went to live with the angels in order to oppose God against Noah's will. They find the mysterious men and then form 12 different kingdoms away from every unclean thing and evil desire. A mysterious conflict between a group of men and followers of God occur. The exact text for this conflict has been lost forever, but the legible part describes the men searching for a reason for their defeat against the followers of God. While searching for an answer, they meet a god named Sakla, who is a counterpart of Satan. God becomes increasingly furious with these attacks against his men and decides to finally wage war against men, and brings forth the worst apocalypse man has ever seen on earth, marking the beginning of the end. The mysterious men who lived with the angels join the fight against God, which in turn only makes him more furious, seeing that there is someone capable of standing up to him, bringing forth more destruction. In the end, to stop the apocalypse, that illuminator, the one who bestowed infinite knowledge upon Eve, comes forth. The illuminator redeems the souls and stands up against evil. God becomes even more envious of the illuminator and fights back desperately. The seed of man and man himself was able to stand up against God because of the illuminator and finally defeated him. This marks the end of Christian mythology. The apocalypse of Adam shows a real version of God rather than the whitewashed one usually seen everywhere. God here is more fearful and dangerous rather than loving and kind, which realistically lies in line with someone who sits at the top of the world and has so much power. God tries hard to obtain the seed of knowledge from man in the end, trying to destroy through the apocalypse. But he was finally defeated by that knowledge and the potential that man held. Many researchers believe that this is the real version of events that occurred. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree with the events that occurred in the apocalypse of Adam and the twisted God that led to all these events in the first place? Let us know in the comments below. If you had fun watching the video or learned something new, leave a like and maybe subscribe, as it helps spread the knowledge to others. Thank you for watching.